I hit the mute button. Wow, that's shorter than the normal intro, so I forgot. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Suicide Prevention Saturday. And no, you don't get to see my smiling face today because this smiling face has a fever and chills and all of that fun stuff. So it's not as adorable as it always is, and I was not about to put makeup on. So, with that, why are we all here? Because it is Suicide Prevention Saturday, and we need to talk about mental health. Why? Because 2 out of every 3 gun deaths we hear about are suicides. And if we talk about mental health, we can help those people, not just those who feel miserable and sad enough to take their lives with a firearm, but all the rest of the people who are also struggling, because life is struggle, and that is just part of it. And we know the advantage of talking about mental health also helps us prevent violence. So, since a majority of this audience are gun owners, it is just good to talk about these things from time to time. Funniest thing I got to tell you about this week, though. Yesterday, I had to reschedule a student, and she calls me and she's like, "Hey, do you know anything about the QPR training?" And for those of you who've been here for long enough, you might know that I am actually QPR certified, which is I can't read, didn't write this down. Question, persuade, and refer. So QPR training just teaches us about asking people the hard questions, right? The hard question is, are you depressed? Are you feeling anxious? Do you think you're going to harm yourself? These are the hard questions none of us ever want to ask anyone ever, because honestly, we don't want the answer. We don't want to know that one of our friends or our family member are suffering in this way. So QPR training is questioning, asking that question. And I think one of the biggest things that people talk about with that is, well, I don't want to ask someone if they're suicidal because maybe they hadn't thought of it. And if I ask them if they're suicidal, I'm going to put the idea in their head. And as someone who was formerly suicidal as a teen, I can promise you, if it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not. You're not going to do that. So the persuade, if someone answers you positively and is in danger, you persuade them or try to persuade them to actually get help. And the R for referral is having an idea of where to refer someone. Now, this is where we give you guys stuff like calling the crisis line, locally calling 211, and nationally now you can call 988, my bad. Thank goodness there's a little thing scrolling around the bottom to remind us of this. And then our friends at Walk the Talk America, of course, offer us even more resources on their love tab. I don't know what to call it other than the love tab, but for those of you guys who've not been to Walk the Talk America, if you go to resources, and where the heck is it? There's so much stuff that they have now. Free screenings. Yeah, this big button over here in the corner where it says free screenings. This is where you can go. And they have a ton of mental health tests: depression, ADHD, PTSD, test your child's parent. Oh, goodness gracious, y'all can read. So the QPR is also having resources available to you, so you know where to send people. And we've talked about this before, and Walk the Talk America has talked about it on their podcast as well. Even if you're not depressed, but you're worried about somebody else, you are welcome to click on the depression test, take the quiz as if you were the person you're concerned about. And at the end of each one of these, there are absolutely additional resources available to you. So I don't know about you guys, but if you've been to the doctor lately, which I have been, they have these questions often on every time you walk in. They're checking in because there are some places where we really do care. And I don't mean to sound, I don't know, that almost sounds like that nowhere else cares. But oh, here we are. Saturday night. You guys are popping in to say hi. I did get to chat with a couple of you because I was surfing the YouTube side earlier. I do have Mr. DJ in here, and he's going to do a roll call for me in just a few minutes because I'm trying to get better about giving him a heads up before I call on him because sometimes he's ready and other times I'm like, hey, DJ, let's go. And then, yes, there is a song, Hey, DJ. But I don't know how many of you out there are hearing that right now. So QPR training just happened to have come up yesterday because one of my students that I'm going to have in a couple weeks is a QPR training. So we might actually talk about getting a bunch of us together to do the QPR training as a group. So if you guys think you'd have a couple hours available on a Zoom call, let me know and I will work on putting that together. All right, so for those of you who are on a big screen and you can see my avatar, it says all we have is all we need. And just as the description says on today's suicide prevention YouTube side, at least, because I'm always confused how it actually works. This is a book that my mom gave to me. And I have to tell you, you don't even have to read the book. You can just look at the title and realize that if all you did as you are freaking out over life in general, because let's be real, life is a challenge. If you take a moment and realize that all we have is all we need, most of you out there, as far as I know, have a roof over your head. You have an internet connection. So I certainly hope that you are eating and are well fed and have shelter. And in our society, I called it the hamster wheel. We are always, well, not we, but I know I am often looking for, oh, just one more. So all we have is all we need is a simple saying that you could have in your head. I honestly have had this book for probably close to 15 years now. And just having it in my house on a counter that I can look at every so often really does make a difference because it is easy to get into the